Hello and welcome to Set for Smash, Moveset Concept, where we look at the legacy of video game characters and analyze how they would play in Super Smash Bros. Welcome to our next Moveset Concept on this special Fighter Pass, where we feature special guests and their character of choice. And for this one, hey all, this is Pyrr, head of the channel designing for. For the past couple years, we've broken down characters, levels, movesets, you name it about video games, and tried to figure out exactly what they wanted to bring out in players. We've done a couple of Smash Bros. Movesets in there too, namely what King K. Rool and Solid Snake do as Smash characters to bring out their personality, playstyle, and, well, character. Now, I'm lucky enough that my all-time favorites have found their way into Smash, but there are more than a couple that I'd love to see join the fight with their overwhelming charisma. And for a character I'd love to see get the Smash treatment, my moveset concept choice.
Objection!
For my personal moveset concept, I choose Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright, or Nick for short, originates from the Ace Attorney series, a series of lawyer drama murder mystery visual novels which began on the Game Boy Advance in 2001 in Japan, but most are more familiar with the enhanced version on the DS from 2005. Its unique mechanics, enjoyable visuals, great writing, and off-the-wall characters have made it one of Capcom's most unique games in their library and beloved by millions over. But here's the biggest question. Can we make a moveset for this oddball lawyer and make his case for Smash Bros? Well, let's find out. I'll let you know that when making this moveset, we did our best to make sure this felt strongly within the Ace Attorney framework. Though we do have a couple moves inspired by Marvel vs. Capcom 3, we steered clear from making a moveset using any of its mechanics. Now, it's a great moveset for a traditional fighting game, don't get me wrong, but purposefully keeping an opponent away behind shields as you look for your win condition, when translated to a platform fighter, is a little competitive Sonic, you know? I want Phoenix to be lame in gameplay. We also tried to marry both the courtroom and investigation scenes into the moveset. And with that out of the way, let's start with the series symbol, which is the shine found on all of the title cards in the Ace Attorney games. Sparkly. Phoenix's height is on par with Marth, as they're canonically close to about the same height, with Phoenix being 5'9" and Marth being 5'11". Now, statistically, Phoenix Wright is a bit of an oddball. His weight is above average compared to standard fighters, but his speed is below average because it just ain't that easy running around all these environments in a full suit. His attack stat is overall pretty weak, for the obvious reason of his games not having any combat whatsoever, but he's got average defense to balance out that lack of power and mobility. Yeah, it's a defense lawyer, he's gotta be okay at that. But all these traits are made up for with very high knockback, making him great for keeping foes away and cleaning out that stock when he gets the opening. And to round it off, he's got 2 below average jumps. For an entrance, the courtroom doors appear in the background, revealing Phoenix Wright. Comes out and says, "The defense is ready." For Phoenix's taunts, Nick's first taunt is him and his thinking foes, probably pondering how he even got here. For his second taunt, he'll have his assistant, Maya Fey, cheering him on in the background, similar to how Rex and Morgana function. And for his third taunt, he does that "aw shucks" pose, surprised at how well he's holding his own with the likes of Kirby. Onto the color palettes. His default design will be his original dark blue suit from the classic trilogy. Color palette 2 sees him in his more modern light blue design from Dual Destinies. Palette 3 has his classic design in a red suit with a white tie, an obvious reference to his ongoing rival, or more, Miles Edgeworth. Color Palette 4 is his modern design with a green jacket and tan fixins as a reference to Detective Gumshoe. Color Palette 5, classic design with an orange suit and denim colored pants, referencing childhood friend Larry Butts. Color Palette 6, we go back to the modern design with a yellow jacket and pants, referencing Athena Sykes, the newest addition to the series and overall an underrated character. According to AngelStar, guess what? I agree. We considered using Apollo here, but we felt that the color palette fit a bit too close to Edgeworth. I didn't see any reason to particularly remove Phoenix's jacket. And no, we just like Athena. Color palette 7 is his classic design with an all-black suit, a reference to both Von Karma and Phoenix's teacher, Mia Fey. And our last color palette will be an alternate from Apollo Justice Ace Attorney, where he's wearing a gray sweat jacket, pants, and a light blue hoodie. Wrapping up the details, we got the victory animations. For Phoenix's first victory animation, the judge appears and gives his not guilty verdict. Phoenix making a sigh of relief that leads him into his aw shucks pose. Maya also cheers for Nick in the background while throwing confetti around, because you can't get a non-guilty verdict without a rain of confetti, baby. His second victory animation, you get an up-close look at his attorney's badge. Then the screen zooms out, showing Phoenix messing with that suit, and he does a victory pose. And for the last animation, Phoenix and Maya do the Steel Samurai pose together. However, Maya's a bit overzealous and keeps getting in front of Phoenix as his name appears. Maya holds the pose, and Phoenix just tries to poke his head out from behind Maya during the rest of the animation. His victory theme is the original Pursuit theme, as this is the most recurring musical motif of the series and has been used in his other crossover appearances. Moving on to standard attacks, starting with his jab, Nick brings out some paperwork and smacks it up to 3 times. He's not really punching out or anything so much as he is just kinda reviewing the facts and you happen to be there. His dash attack shows him doing a shoulder tackle, which is a surprising commonality through the series when Phoenix has to bust open a door. Phoenix's side tilt shows him doing his iconic pointing pose. For the up tilt, Phoenix runs his fingers through his hair, making the spikes on it especially pointy and doing some slicing damage. And for his down tilt, he swipes at the ground as if he's trying to look for some evidence down there. As for Phoenix's smash attacks, his side smash sees him taking out his cell phone, and a loud noise comes out of the phone. Probably someone he knows screaming at him. When charging up the attack, you can hear the phone ringing while he's scrambling through his pockets trying to find it. The up smash sees Phoenix straightening his spine as he gives a look of shock. While leaning back fully, his hair spikes also deal damage. And for his down smash, Phoenix brings out a metal detector and puts it first in front of him and then behind him, trying to find something. Going on to his aerials, starting with the standard, Phoenix goes into a panic, scratching his head and flailing his legs. It's useful as a good get-off-me tool when he's in quite a pickle. His forward aerial is the same as his side tilt, where he points toward the foe. Feels wrong not having that in there where we can fit it in, you know? Now for his back aerial, papers fly out of the back of Phoenix's jacket and he makes a surprised look. All the papers dealing a little bit of slashing damage as they flutter down before blowing away. The up aerial sees Phoenix whip out that metal detector again upward, with the top of the detector dealing some electrical damage. Always useful if you use that in just the right spot, huh? And for the down aerial, Phoenix smacks both of his hands under him, a reference to how he slams his hands on the desk when he's making a point in the courtroom. And the move spikes. As for Phoenix's grabbing animations, Phoenix actually grabs his foes using Missile, a Shiba Inu given to Phoenix by Detective Gumshoe for a specific case. Missile grabs with his teeth and pummels by tightening his jaws while Phoenix is trying to pull back his leash. Certainly apologizing, Missile's not usually like this. Now I personally proposed for this idea for his moveset. Mostly due to Missile being based on Shu Takumi, the creator of Ace Attorney's own pet dog, and if he can sneak his dog into every project he can, who am I to break the chain? Forward throw will have Phoenix accidentally let go of the leash and Missile will headbutt the foe. For the back throw, Phoenix tugs the leash and falls on his back, accidentally sending the foe flying behind him. Missile is okay, just to let you know. For Phoenix's up throw, he gets a Phoenix Wright idea and an exclamation point appears above him. That then knocks the opponent upward and the exclamation point explodes. This is a cute reference to the original penalty animation from the first Ace Attorney game. Missile, of course, just sits and watches because he's a good boy. And for the down throw, Missile runs around the foe, tying his leash around them and causing them to trip. Missile then runs away and disappears. Moving on to the special attacks. Phoenix Wright's standard special is both simple yet complicated. as it differs depending on how you hit the special button and how it can be utilized with Phoenix's other special attacks. The first part of his standard special is Examine. By tapping the special button, Phoenix brings out a magnifying glass, and if an opponent, item, or projectile comes into contact with him, they'll be put into evidence. With projectiles and items being stored away in the court record, while foes will have only their icon appear and take small flinching damage. Phoenix can hold up to 3 different pieces of evidence in his court record at a time. If you hold special, you can have Phoenix sift through his court record with left or right, choosing which one is active, including an empty space. Now this is very important, as evidence is the key to victory for Phoenix Wright. Not just to his moveset, but to Ace Attorney as a whole. Evidence can be used in a couple of other special attacks, including his standard special again by either double tapping the special button or choosing your evidence and then immediately tapping afterward. Examine then becomes more like Present. For projectiles and items, they work very similarly to how you'd expect Villager's Pocket to work. But if it's evidence with a character icon, Phoenix will fire off a projectile text bubble of "Take that!" that will auto-lock on to whoever he's got in evidence for a short time. Note that this is a projectile, so as usual, Phoenix's words could be turned right back at him with the right reflection. The Kirby hat is, of course, Phoenix's spiky hair. As a cute detail, when Kirby is looking through documents, you can see some cute crayon drawings. Phoenix's side special is Cross-Examine. If you activate it, Phoenix will enter a thinking pose, and if he's hit by an attack, will have the words "Hold it!" appear. When hit by these words, foes will take damage and be temporarily stunned. Projectiles, however, will literally freeze in place for Nick to either dodge or turn into evidence with Examine. And speaking of evidence, this is where it gets to really shine. If you've got an opponent's icon in your evidence, and you use your side special again, well, you could tell them to hold it! And if they're in roughly auto-reticle range, they immediately get hit by the stun, giving Phoenix time to plan his next attack or freeze his opponent in order to get back on the stage. But at the cost of removing that valuable piece of evidence to harass them with. Speaking of recovery though, now Phoenix's up special was the hardest concept to make for him, mostly due to the fact that there wasn't a real way to fly in the Ace Attorney games. Unless you want to reference Turnabout Big Top, but no. So instead, we based it more on the humor of Ace Attorney, with his up special, Flu Season. By pressing up special, Phoenix can let out a large sneeze, knocking him upward. The move able to be charged for higher distance and higher knockback. But Phoenix will not go into freefall after sneezing. That's because a lawyer doesn't give up even if he's got a cold. And because Phoenix has no other recovery options, so he needs all the help he can get. After using this move, he cannot use it until he has reached the ground. The man has tremendous luck, but he's not getting it twice in a row. And for Phoenix Wright's down special, he uses his Magatama to see an opponent's Psych Lock. For this move to work, either you have to get close to an opponent in order to reveal their locks, or if you have the foe in your evidence, you will automatically reveal their locks when you choose their evidence with Examine, and then use your down special at the cost of removing it from evidence. When the Psych Lock is visible, an opponent's movement slows down for a short period of time, the weight of their guilt causing them to play a little more cautiously. But if Phoenix uses Present or Cross-Examine, that lock will automatically be destroyed for a big chunk of damage, because nothing hurts more than the truth itself. This gives Phoenix a great dynamic where he can chase opponents down and gets the choice between them taking a huge chunk of damage with his down special or setting up for the kill with his side special. But it all depends on having the right evidence at the right moment. For Phoenix Wright's final smash, it makes sense to be an important part of the Ace Attorney series, as Phoenix Wright takes the fighters to court with the final turnabout. When Phoenix begins his final smash, he begins the final cross-examination as he says that iconic phrase, "Objection!" Only one foe can be caught in this, but if hit, the opponent will be put into a cinematic. The scene reveals the iconic courtroom, flashing, showing the foe on the witness stand, the judge, and finally, Phoenix Wright, as he points at the foe in the witness stand while the judge has the menacing look, similar to the one in Nick's Nightmare from Ace Attorney 2. The reveal of their guilt puts them in a shocked animation, giving them massive damage. But if the foe is at 100%, the word guilty appears in front of them, and they instantly lose a stock. The cinematic ends with a giant gavel slam, knocking away any nearby foes and referencing that court has been adjourned. And with that, we have set for Smash Phoenix Wright. Now frankly, I think Phoenix is a hilarious character to put in a fighting game. His body language is fantastic, and having a guy with his insane luck fumbling his way through a fight using moves that barely even resemble fighting is great. But more than that, Phoenix's place in gaming is so unique and important. His series might lean into detective, adventure game style drama rather than a pure visual novel experience, but he was still a major factor of anything even resembling a visual novel finding success outside Japan. Nick's got a worldwide presence that no other VN adjacent character can really match. And the ebb and flow of each Ace Attorney game is so addictive as you get one step of a case figured out and then are immediately put on the back foot. And the ridiculous pop-offs you get from figuring out that insane logic and finally hitting a witness behind their impregnable facade is indescribably satisfying. I think bringing that energy to Smash, that comedic styling, that constant setup, and that final objection when the opponent is weakened enough to send him flying is both something that Smash is lacking in an effective and consistently engaging form, and he's fun, okay? I just think he's really fun. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out some of the other content here on the AngelStar channel, from reviews of old games and anime, or a look back at obscure media. And don't forget to check out his character choice for the Set for Smash Fighters Pass season finale. While you're at it, be sure to check out my channel, Designing 4, where we break down the inner meanings of video game characters, mechanics, and lore. And be sure to check out the next Moveset Concept. See ya!